Okay, now on to the kitchen. This countertop is 7 years old, just like the flooring is, obviously. We did everything when we moved in. And over time, this faucet is defective and has started to leak internally. You can see that it's all broken and everything. And what's happened then is because it saturated the wood to the point where it's completely waterlogged, we've got a little split right here and a little split right there. Today, we're going to repair that. Not a big deal, about an hour's time or so, and then the countertop will be like brand new. Okay, well, since we're inside somebody's house, in this case we're inside my house, I obviously want to take the time to prep and build myself a little area where I can mix on and work from and not impact any of the surroundings and create a mess for myself that's going to be a problem later. So I always use a nice rosin paper like this. I'm going to go ahead and set up a little work area. Paper's thick enough so that if you did get anything on it, it wouldn't leak through. Then I'm going to take the things that I need: stir sticks, tape, chip brushes, a couple of those, margin trowel, the countertop epoxy, a razor knife, some color, some open the lids with, and some of the countertop composite. Epoxies tend to soften a little bit when we heat them, so I'm going to just take this torch and just lightly heat this area up a little bit. We're not looking to melt anything, we're just looking to warm it up so that it cuts easier. And then I'm just going to take my razor knife and we're going to make a slice right here and take out this area that's compromised. And you'll just cut it until you get to solid wood and solid concrete. So, I think I'm going to go back just a little bit further. So we're good right there. And this one needs very little removed. All right, so now we're going to mix up some countertop composite. Normally this comes in a 40-pound bucket and we have it available in 20s too. This is a sample size. I keep it around in my truck for if there's any repairs or anything I want to do. So I'm just going to mix it up, and as you know, we mix it about 4-to-1 for doing the edges, 4 parts powder to 1 part water. We don't need very much here. I just need to get enough in there so that I can mix it. And I'm going to put just a little bit of water in. Looking for something that's thick enough that I can mold it and shape it and things like that on there to get the area covered, and then let it dry and then shape it a little bit. Okay, we've got our mud here all mixed up, and what we're going to do is we're just going to take it. We're not too worried about it, what it's going to look like right now. We're going to end up coming back in and troweling it out as it gets hard. So we need to get some up on there right now. And at the end of this step, we need to have the countertop composite just a little bit below the surface there so that we have room to put the epoxy on as we go. And you can see I've prepped this off, so if I spilled anything, it's not going to be a big concern. So we're just going to get some on there for right now. And then as it sets up, we'll come in and shape it a little bit more than it is now and trowel it a little bit smoother. Just put a little bit on this one. The idea is just to get some on there right now, and then, as I said, we'll come back in and shape it up as it hardens up a little bit more. Okay, now this is dried for about 20, maybe 30 minutes, and it's getting hard to the point where we can go ahead and just kind of shape it just a little bit. We did a good job in the first place, so we don't need to worry about it too much. We're just taking off any excess and taking anything off of the deck up here that we don't want. Now remember, I told you it's important that this surface of this is a little bit below the epoxy, so when we blend in the epoxy, it's at the same level and doesn't look like a bubble or a bump. Smaller ones like this are really much less of a worry about that. Go back and just shave that down a little bit. And really that's all there is to it. Now that this is dried, remember we have this all shaped out and everything else the way we want it. It's all dried and now we're ready to color. So to get this concrete look is actually 3 different colors. We will not need to do the amber color underneath just because it's such a small area. But we're going to do a deeper gray with the mortar gray. And then we're going to put the lighter gray over the top of it, and those are diluted with water. And then we'll put it on and then just kind of dab it off with some more water until we get the effect that we're after. So we'll start with the mortar gray, and we're just putting a tiny little bit in there, just a little bit of water. And when we stain this, it's going to look like a deep gray color. And that's going to be our color that's going to be underneath. I need to get that on the whole thing right there, anywhere that we patched in. And then take a little bit of water and just kind of blend it in, feather it in there. And we're going to let that dry. Anywhere there's existing epoxy, you can see that that color will just wipe off of there, so we're not concerned about that. All right, now, once that's dried up a little bit, doesn't have to be all the way dry, but just a little bit, we're going to add this. This is our smoke. It is an acrylic color, and it is most like a paint, so we're going to mix it again with water. And we're just going to dab some of that on there. And this I'll do in a number of different coats until I get the look that I'm after. Put a little more color in there. Remember, we're not building watches here, so if we have to add a little more color or take a little color away, we can do that as we go. We'll let that dry up for a little bit and see what we've got. The final step of this is to apply the epoxy over the top of the repair that we made. And as you can see, I've masked off the area very well so that I don't get any epoxy stuck inside the sink. It's difficult to get it off once you get it on. I've mixed the epoxy in here. It's a 1-to-1 mix, 1 part A, 1 part B. As you can see, I've got a total of 8 ounces in there. So it was 4 parts A and 4 parts B. 4 ounces of each. I'm going to go ahead and just put a little bit of building the top up thick enough to do that, and then I'm going to come in here and paint some on the face all the way around here like this. Right here where we patched in. Just looking to cover that up. Face like that. We just want to make sure that we're Got a nice even coat on there so that it's flush with the top. I'm going to get down and take a look. I'm happy with that. Then take a torch in case we've worked any bubbles into it. And we'll take that, peel this off of the top. Tomorrow we'll come in and sand it off so it's matte finish like this to sand some of the sheen off, and at that point you won't even be able to tell we did anything at all.